All right. All right. Can you guys see me, hear me? Everything's good? Thumbs up? All right. Um, I'm a minute early. Hi, Nicole. And it probably says Kristen Sharp, but I am Kimberly Wilcox. So nice to meet you guys. Hi, pretty. Nice to see you. Um, I'm just going to dive right in since we're recording, and we'll wait for if you have questions, you're welcome to put them in the chat, but there's a chance that I'll answer it as we go along. So if not, if I don't answer it, then we'll go over it then. All right. Okay, so I'm going to go through these slides. I'm not going to have to read every single word, just kind of as an overview. And then I am going to show you guys, and I'll attach it in the chat, or actually maybe after I post the recording in the group, I'll attach a couple links to some Google Docs if you don't already have them. They're just some good, if someone says this, what do I say back? Talking about price, answering questions, navigating a conversation. So just good scripts to have. So we'll kind of go through those a little. And then I have some of my own notes that will, one, kind of reiterate some of the things we go over, and then just some things that I've learned over the last 7 years. So I have been a coach for 7 years. I have 3 boys. I live in Florida. I am a Success Club legend, 10 legend. So I've been able to hit Success Club many years in a row consistently. And I just say that just so you know that inviting is important, and I got those points by inviting. It is a vital behavior for a reason, along with being a product of a product, and doing your personal development and recognizing others. But this is one that you just like all of them, you just can't skip them. They all go together. A good example I always use is if you're making macaroni and cheese, you need the milk, and you need the noodles, and you need the cheese, and you need the butter. And if you leave one of those out, it's just really not going to be great macaroni and cheese. So you got to do it all. So let's start with what to say after the I'm interested. Because a lot of the inviting is just getting it out there. Either they've commented on a post, or you sent them the invite, which I know we're kind of doing this in a reverse way, but you will have to do that to get to this, ask the questions and identify the problems and get the conversation started. But we're going to start with these slides anyway. So ask the questions to identify the problem. So if they reach out to you, thanks for reaching out about my upcoming group. Happy to talk to you with more about what's been helping me so much. What made you interested? Any particular goals you're currently working on? Another example right below. The main thing I want you guys to get out of this is it's always important to have open-ended questions. Always be asking questions. Always be asking how you can better help them. Always be looking for more information. Why are they interested? Why did they take the time to write you? Why did they like your post? Why are they watching stories every day? Things like that. So if you've reached out to them and said, hey, I'm doing this new group, or we have this new program coming out, or I'm doing our latest program like MBF, or whatever it is that you're doing. I mean, you got to be you. Would you like some more information? And they say, sure. For the most part, we are working out, eating healthy, and cheering each other on toward our goals. I really focus in my groups on keeping things simple and a lifestyle. Do you have any certain goals right now that you're working on, or following anything right now as far as fitness or nutrition? Again, we're always asking questions, right? Did I go too fast? If they respond with how much does it cost, and all of this is in those docs too that we'll go over. Good question. I don't actually charge for my groups or coaching. Only cost really just depends on what you need to get started with your goals. Do you mind if I ask you a few questions so I can get a better idea of your goals and what your needs are? So if you haven't gotten to that point, you are going to have people that are like, there's no way that I can do a workout, or I'm just not in good shape. Or don't try to convince them that they can. Focus on what they do want to work on. Maybe they just want to focus on nutrition, or maybe I have lots of people that don't focus on nutrition. They just want to work out. They feel like their eating's under control. They feel like everything's fine, and they just want to focus on the workout side. I'm not going into this How can I sell them a challenge pack? I'm going into it, how can I best meet their needs? So if that's fitness, we're going to focus on BOD, but am I certainly going to be like, hey, you might want to look at getting Energize and Recover as part of your package, or you might want to consider adding 2B Mindset, or the fixed container system. And now with all of these programs starting to include those things, it's really easy to say, listen, you get a month of Shakeology, you get this, you get that, this gets added on, this is free. And they see all this value being added up, and that's something that you can obviously talk to more and more. These are just examples. I'm not going to read through all these because I have a bunch to send you. So asking questions, identifying their problems. When in doubt, ask more questions. I can't stress that enough. So instead of saying you should do this, take time to ask and find out, why do you think you should do this? What brought you to this point? Again, a lot of open-ended questions. Try to find out what their motivation is and get to that why, that pain point, like why now? And it doesn't have to be why you think it's important. Like this is something that I am guilty of after 7 years of coaching, of feeling like, oh, this really needs to be like this lifestyle change, and they really need to not stress about what size they are or weight. But the fact is, like, people come to us because they have a wedding coming up, or they want to fit in a bikini on vacation, or they want to look good for a class reunion, or whatever it is. And that's okay. Like whatever motivates. So if that's their goal, like I'm not here to be like, no, it needs to be a lifestyle change. Whatever gets you started and moving in the right direction, I'm all for. So again, just make sure that they know it's not about a transaction. So I feel very low pressure when I'm inviting, when I'm talking to people. And that's something that I'll definitely finish our little talk about here in a minute. So fitness questions that you can ask. These are good open-ended questions. Tell me what makes you interested in doing XYZ, or maybe a program they've talked about, or Beachbody in general. What are you currently doing to work out or have done in the past? Yeah, I meet a couple people. How's that been working for you? Are you trying to lose weight, tone up? Well, I don't like that tone up question, but still, whatever. Let me go back. Nutrition wise, what does a typical day look like for you? That's a question I still use almost every day. On average, how often do you eat? Like what kind of things are you eating? Do you tend to skip meals? I'll ask people like what's worked for them in the past, what hasn't worked for them in the past, what's their biggest challenge? Like I'll hear a lot of like time is a challenge, like they have a bunch of kids and they have a full-time job and now they're homeschooling or whatever. So time, and I'm always reiterating and reflecting on what people are telling me. So I'm always repeating what they're saying. So I'm saying like, okay, so if I said on average, how often do you eat out? And they said really like every day, like either I grab breakfast, lunch, or dinner. Maybe they're, going to Starbucks for breakfast or Panera for lunch, or grabbing fast food for dinner or whatever it is, and they don't even realize that at least once a day they're going to some kind of drive-through or something like that. I would follow that up by saying, how many times a week do you think you could drop that down to help you meet your goal? I'm not going to say let's drop it down to 3 times a week instead of 7 times a week. I'm going to let them decide, how often do you think you should be eating out to help you reach your goal? Like I'm always just asking with another question and helping them direct themselves into the goals that they have, so that I know that I'm helping with what they want to do. So when you start talking about accountability questions, do you think having a coach and an accountability group with others who are working towards some common goals would help you stay on track and not feel alone? It's a great question. Identify with their struggles, build trust. People want to know, like, and trust you. So when you get a no, it's just not right now, or maybe it's a no, and that's okay. It's not the end of the world, but they don't know, like, or trust you enough. And it's not even they don't trust you. Maybe they don't trust Beachbody, or maybe they don't trust working with an MLM, or maybe they don't trust in-home workouts, or whatever it is, or they don't know enough about it. There's not enough information. They just need more information. They need more time. So identifying with where they're at, empathizing with where they're at, and identifying will build trust in the whole process. The best way to know the solution is to know the value of what we offer. So getting familiar, when we start offering the solution with challenge packs or whatever that may be, we're going to explain to them how that is that's their solution. So how to offer the solution. So from everything you've told me, it sounds like XYZ may be a good fit for you. So we'll probably decide on, a BOD challenge pack, or the new MBF, or the new running program, or whatever it is. 30-day breakaway, is that what it's called? To be certain, I'm going to send you a couple quick video clips to give you a better idea, and it'll explain more about our group and support. So our back office is full of videos, or you can go to Vinemo, is that it? Vinemo? I get Venmo and Vinemo mixed up, but it's the video one. And then I use the app BB Links. If you don't have BB Links, it's a free app. It's not put out by Beachbody. It's put out by some coaches that created it, but it's just called BB Links. And I'll show you what it looks like if you can see it. It's just two little BBs with a blue background. So that has tons of video clips that I copy and paste and send people constantly. I'm always sending videos. This is an easy third-party tool for us to share. All right. Use these words, I can't read the very top, so that they can immediately see the value. Netflix of workouts, I say that a lot. Nutrition like a class, so you understand nutrition and aren't just told what to eat. Whole food, multivitamin shake. Speak to them on how this helps solve your problems. So this is really your chance to start to share your story. This doesn't come like at the very beginning, as you can see, because it's about them. It's not about you. You can definitely share like, hey, I'm doing this program, or I've had these results. Is it something you'd want to maybe do with me? And then you get this conversation going. But just as you go on, you're going to speak to them more about how this has done a lot for you. Like you understand they want to lose 50 pounds. Maybe it helped you lose 50 pounds. Maybe it didn't help you, but you know someone on the team that it did help lose 50 pounds. Maybe someone struggles with, gluten intolerance or celiac, or someone was just in there asking about what Kayla has, and I can't, lupus. Someone has a story that you want to then relate and say, oh, I've worked with someone like that, and share their story. So it's really easy to jump in Dream Big, and in the search bar, type in anything, type in lupus and see the stories that come up, or, whatever it is that, or 100-pound weight loss. Like we have people on our team who have done that, or weight loss after baby, or, bad knees or bad back, or whatever it is, we have a story for it. I promise you, don't be afraid to ask and learn those stories. And communicate why you're excited for them, get excited for them. This can be, really life-changing. So this is very end. This is how it all works and comes together, like in the video. And like I said, I'm going to share those scripts with you guys, so don't feel like overwhelmed reading all this. Like you'll have access to it. So everything comes bundled in your challenge pack. To get a discount, we don't charge anything as coaches. It just goes on and says that I'm going to share this with you guys separately. But what I want to say about scripts at this point is, I think I can close this now. Screen share. Oh, geez. Okay, well, now I don't know how to stop my screen share. Okay, I'll just leave it there for a second until I can figure this bad boy out. Oh, here we go. Stop share. Okay. So many more faces now. Okay. I lost my train of thought. I apologize. What I was going to say about scripts in general is you don't want to sound like a script. You don't want to sound like a telemarketing person. You don't want to sound like everyone else where it's that icky MLM feeling. Like if you read something, it's there for inspiration, but you want to sound like you're a person. You want to connect with that person, not like you're just trying to sell something, not like you're just after to sell a challenge pack. You want to connect with them, you want to listen to them, and you want to be patient. They're not all going to say yes right away. They're going to have questions. They're going to have to think about it. They're going to forget about your message. They're going to be wishy-washy. Like that's just part of the process. So I would just say embrace that and know that that's coming, and just talk to people like a human being, like the way that you want to be talked to. I buy lots of stuff from people. I mean, you wouldn't know it from my face right now, but makeup and hair products and who knows what. But I like it when people talk to me like a person and not like a sale. So, all right, I'm going to go over some notes that I made for you guys for inviting, and then I'll just open it up if you guys have any questions. And with the recording, I'll definitely share those links to some back and forth like we just went over. So inviting is a daily, weekly, monthly event, and you have to decide what works for you with your schedule. So if you want to invite you have to decide the number of people you need to invite right away anyways. And then that number needs to be evaluated each month based on, are you hitting your goals or not? So if your goal is SC5 or SC10 or SC20, whatever that is, if your goal is SC2, I don't care. You have to have a number in mind. And then we got to work backwards and figure out how many people we need to invite to get that amount of people. My goal was always SC10. Now it's usually like this time in my life, I'm gonna be honest, it's SC5. 10's a bonus, but I really shoot for SC5. But for years and years, it was SC10. That it was to build my business, to grow my income, to grow my coaches, to grow my husband's team, all that kind of stuff. So I was always shooting for SC10. And for me to do that, I got to a point where I knew that I needed to invite a minimum of 60 people a month. 60 people a month is not a lot of people, guys. It's 2 a day. It's not a lot. So that number should not feel overwhelming for one bit, because it's actually asking 2 people a day to do this with you. And an invite literally takes seconds to do. It's not a long process. It's a really quick process in your power hour. And I encourage it to be the beginning of your power hour. If you haven't read the book Eat That Frog, it's about getting those tasks that you don't want to do out of the way. And if inviting is one of them for you, then that needs to be one of the things that you get out of the way the first thing in the morning, or the first thing when you can sit down to your power hour. Doing my workout is my Eat My Frog. I have to work out in the morning, because as the day goes on and on and on, I just don't want to do it. I have no problem reading PD. I have no problem listening to something. If I sit down to a power hour, I have no problem inviting, but I need to get my workout before I even do those things, or I'll put it off. So if inviting is that thing for you, you need to get it done. When I say daily, weekly, or monthly, everyone has a different system. Maybe you want to make your list of 60 people, and I'm just going to use an example of like what I used to do. Make my list of 60 people for the month and invite 2 a day, okay? Maybe you want to sit down on a Monday and invite 10 or 20 every Monday, and then you have that week to have a conversations with them, to follow up with them, to check in on them. Maybe you want to sit down, and I did this for a long time. I would sit down at the beginning of the month and I would invite all 60 people in one day. That's just how I rolled. I just wanted to get it done. I wanted to get it over with. And then could I invite more people? Yeah, but I knew that I had invited at least 60 for the month already. Like I was already hit the ground running, and I knew my inbox was going to be busy and full the first couple weeks, but I would worry about getting my SC points or starting my new people. And then I know Kristen does this now too, then to kind of transition over to like more actively recruiting for coaches. So daily, weekly, or monthly, you decide on the number that's good for you. And maybe you reevaluate that number and you say, I really need to invite more, or I don't necessarily need to invite as much. But another good book that I read early on is called Go for No. It's super thin if you've never read it, super thin. And it really talks about, instead of just saying, hey, my goal is SC5, my goal is to get 60 no's or to get 100 no's or whatever it is. So instead of stopping at SC5 or SC10, why don't you stop when you actually get 60 people that say no, or not right now, or they're not interested, or they don't end up ordering, because you'll probably really exceed your goal and get a lot more than you're expecting. So that's a good book, different way to approach it. So I talked about how it's a important vital behavior, both for inviting for customers and coaches. You can't just invite to be customers all the time. Starting out, especially if you're new coaches on here or have new coaches, yeah, you're going to be inviting a lot of customers, but don't be afraid to offer the coaching opportunity. Don't be afraid after the first month or two that they're seeing great results to say, hey, would you want to do what I do and share this with people, or, you know, take advantage of the discount, but also present the business opportunity, let them know that there is an opportunity, because the last thing you want is a team full of discount coaches. You want a team of working coaches like all of you that are on a call at 8 or 9 o'clock at night. That's what you want. So learn the number you need. We talked about that. Okay. Tracking, follow-ups, combos. That's what we did, this call in reverse with all those slides, but that's where all that comes in. You're having all these conversations back and forth. You're having all these follow-ups, like, hey, asking more open-ended questions. That's a good way to start like, I haven't heard back from someone. You always want to say, like, did you have a chance to watch that video? Or did you have any more questions for me? Or, you know, I say this a lot. I'm like, tell me what you're thinking. Like, I know something's holding you back. Tell me what it is. And sometimes they're just like, oh my gosh, Kimberly, I just got busy. Like, life is busy. And I get that. I understand. So sometimes it's nothing, like, it's not necessarily a no, they're just busy. And I love to remind you guys that, like, you can't say the wrong thing to the right person. So to going back to just being conversational and yourself and not salesy, if it's the right time for the right person, I call it the 12 o'clock. If it's there 12 o'clock, they're just going to be ready. And sometimes it's going to seem so easy, like, wow, but because they were ready. They might have had people asking them the last 3 years to do something like this, and they said no because they weren't ready. It wasn't their 12 o'clock. But here's the importance of following up with someone and staying in someone's circle and commenting on their social media, Facebook or Instagram stories or whatever, and staying present in their life. When they are ready, when they do hit their 12 o'clock, they're going to remember, Kathy has been writing me, Heather has been writing me, Christy has been writing me. I'm ready to do this. Like, who do I go to now? I had a girl write me this month, and she said, Kimberly, are you still coaching? I was her coach 6 years ago when I first started, really. And she's like, are you still coaching? I really want to get back to Beachbody, and I want to order through you. And I was like, yeah, I'm absolutely still coaching. How can I help you? And now she's back in a group or whatever, but she knows that I stay present and available. So anyways, okay. Ways to make that list of 50, 60, 100 people, whatever you want to do. And really, guys, just like weight loss journey, it's your decision, like what you want your list to be. If you want it to be 10 people, 20 people, that's fine. Just realize you're not going to invite 10 people and have all of them say yes and hit Success Club 20. Like, that's just not the way it works. So we have to realize that it is, in fact, without it being icky, a numbers game of how many people can I talk to, how many people can I reach in order to increase my odds of helping more people. And that's not a bad thing. It's just, that's the way it works. Ways to make a list: people watching your stories, if you happen to do Instagram stories, people commenting on your Facebook post or Instagram post, your general hot market. Like, if you've never sat down and just brainstorm, like, people that you're close to, I literally used to open up, and I still do this, open up Facebook and go to my friends list and just type in A and see the people that come up in the A's and write down a few names. B, write down a few names. C, and then it'll be like Christy pops up and Kathy pops up. I'm like, oh, they'd be good people to invite. Or, oh, they did a challenge with me 5 years ago. Maybe they'd want to do another one. Like, they know who I am. But just write down those names, and don't say in your head, don't think it and say, oh, they're not going to want to do it, or don't discount them. Just write their name down. Like, we'll worry about that later. Just get that list down. They, like I said, they want to know, like, and trust you. So once you go through your hot market and you're going into like a warm market or cold market of people, those people don't know, like, or trust you yet. So that then becomes kind of your mission to continue to interact with those people and build a relationship with them. You can do this pen and paper. You can use digital spreadsheets. You can use something like Teamzy, which is a paid service, but you can try out for free, that will help you download your contacts and track them. It's Tamzy. I have always been a pen and paper girl. Sometimes it does get me into trouble because it's a little less reliable, but it has been my system forever, really. I just like to write it down. So let's talk a little bit about, I'll end on this and then we can ask any questions, and I almost will have you out of here in 30 minutes. So I'm just going to end with, don't let fear stop you. And I feel like that's the biggest thing with inviting, is this fear of what people are going to think about me, or fear that I'm bothering people, or fear that people are going to think I'm icky in some way. And one of my favorite quotes since we started coaching, I was looking at Nicole, I said that because I know we've been coaching a long time, is to not don't keep other people's future captive in your own mouth. Tommy Migrant, an old coach, said that. And I just love that, because I don't want to keep it inside of me when it could change your life. Like, coaching has changed my life. Beachbody has changed my life. So it's really selfish not to share it with other people. So don't make it about yourself, where it's like, how am I going to look, or how am I going to feel, or what's going to happen when someone says no to me? What's going to happen when someone says yes to you? What happens when you help someone lose 50 pounds, 100 pounds? What happens when you help someone get back their confidence and help save their marriage? What happens when you help someone be a better mom and play with their kids and get up off the couch and get out of depression and make an extra $100 or $1,000 or $100,000? Like, what happens when you're the reason that happened? Those are the stories that you have to focus on when you sit down to invite, because inviting is not fun. Inviting is not sexy. Inviting is not like, I just can't wait to do it. But if you turn it around to those things that you get to do, the outcome, and not the action of like, hey, going through the process of asking uncomfortable questions and feeling like a salesperson, that's when it gets a lot more enjoyable. So I would focus on those outcomes of those kind of things. So yeah, just remember, like, what if your coach never invited you? Like, where would you be? You wouldn't be on this call. I think you probably wouldn't be as happy as you are right now. And you're grateful. At the end of the day, I know you're all grateful that whoever invited you. And honestly, you probably said no to them more than once. I know I did. Or you probably asked them a zillion questions, or you probably had hesitations and objections. And those are all the things that we're going to have to go through too. So just remember, you were that person at one time. So, any questions at all? Or anyone want to say anything? You can unmute yourself too if you don't want to put it in the chat.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. Well, I hope that helps you guys, whether you're a new coach or been around a while. It's always, even just writing my notes today was a good reminder for me, like, yes, Kimberly, you can do this. You can invite 60 people. Get on it. Yeah, it always helps. So it's good to see some familiar faces and some new faces. And I hope this motivates you guys to go out there and make a list and invite some new people and not be discouraged by any no's that you might get. All right, I'll let you guys go. Get some rest. Bye.